Let me tell you how I see people up validating other people's feelings all the time. Because look, other people's feelings are valid. It doesn't mean they're right or wrong. They're valid. They're having the feeling. It's a valid feeling. It's something that's happening to them. No matter how irrational, no matter how rational, it's a valid thing. And I think it's so important to validate. But here's how most people validate. Someone puts out something that I totally disagree with, and I'm like, I don't see the world that way. Now, what I'm thinking in my head is, well, that's one way to see the world, and it's a valid way, but I don't see it that way. If all that comes out of my mouth is I don't see the world that way, it just sounds like another front. It's another way of saying you're wrong, right? When we validate other people, it's like, hey, so what I'm hearing you say is you believe ABC. Is that right? Because a lot of times we don't even get that right. If they say yes, okay, that's a valid way to look at this. And I understand that. That's not how I choose to look at this. And I want to tell you how I choose to look at this. It now I validated. Like a lot of people try to validate their partner's feelings without actually doing the validation part. They just skip the validation part. And then they come up with some segue like, well, the way I look at it, well, now you haven't actually validated. You skipped the validation part. You can say that's a valid way to look at this. And I can see why you're upset based on that way of looking at this. That's not how I look at this. Let me tell you how I look at it. Doesn't mean I'm right or wrong. And all that is important. I'm not saying I have a monopoly on what's right, but here's how I see it and why it's not hurting me.